Hello guys, I've just had a very interesting game versus a extremely good jungler on the US server. He goes by the name of 113. He's played in LEC, he's consistently high challenger every season, and he's notoriously known in high elo for having a very aggressive playstyle, and he also cheeses a lot. And I just wanted to showcase a game that I played versus him because it's very important to know how to play versus players like this. It's players like this that have an incredibly aggressive early game playstyle. They try to counter jungle, they try to permanently fight you, they try to throw you off your game, ruin your tempo, just make your life a living hell. So what do you do when you encounter players like this? Well, in today's video I am going to showcase my strategy and what I do to deal with these kinds of situations. Just a quick rundown on myself. I have peaked Challenger on the US server, basically one-tricking Udyr on multiple occasions. I've also done many account runs where I've gotten GM with very high win rates and, you know, just a bunch of different Smurf accounts with really high stats and super high win rates. And I've basically only played Udyr in the past year or so. I've exclusively one-tricked Udyr, and currently I am the best Udyr player in the world according to this website here. Not that it means anything, of course. You should never look at websites like this and actually take them into consideration, but I mean, I think my credentials are pretty decent for what I'm about to show you. Okay, so getting into game here, you have Mr. 113 playing Bel'veth. He always likes to go for a little peek into the enemy jungle level 1. It's something he always does. He tries to get some vision. And usually what these types of players do is when they pick a champion like Bel'veth, something that excels very hard at counter jungling Raptors level 1, is they usually just try and start your Raptors. So what I like to do here is I like to wait for a bit, and then I like to drop a ward right on my Raptors, because Bel'veth is very predictable. This is a very common strategy for high elo Bel'veth players, not just this guy, but Bel'veths in general. It also, champs like Kayn, they often start your Raptors and they try to screw you over by making your timers fucked up and just preventing you from getting a full clear and having good tempo. That's the whole plan that they have. So he starts my Raptors, I know where he is, and the reason why I start Wolf Camp this game is because they have a Blitzcrank and I just don't want to get cheesed and have my blue buff hook level 1 or something, so I'm just taking as many safety precautions as I can here to avoid getting my early game completely dumpstered. Now obviously this Blitzcrank didn't go for it, but it's better to be safe than sorry, okay? So I do 3 camps here. 3 camps, just keep this in mind. This guy does my red buff, he leaves up my Krogs because he wants to mess up my jungle timers with my Raptors and Krogs so that they're never aligned. Now this is a very common strategy where they cross over through mid and then they go into their red side because they expect you to try and counter jungle the red side because, well, that's kind of the only option I have, right? After he counter jungles my top side, like where can I go? Unless you do this strategy that I'm going to showcase. So what I do is, while 113 is crossing over into his bot side to do these camps, what do I do? Oh, wait a second. I've already taken a base after 3 camps here. Now I am playing AD Udyr, so I pick up a longsword on base, but why do I base and why do I have E level 3? Because I have a plan, because I know where the Bel'veth is, I know that he's crossed over into his bot side jungle. The only places that he can go after he's done these camps is his top side. So logically, what do? After I've taken my base, after I get my longsword power spike. Now okay, this is another thing to consider. If you are playing AP into Bel'veth, I'm picking AD because I had a good opportunity this game. I had a Seraphine ADC, I had a Cho'Gath top. I could play AD here, and AD is not bad into their team comp, which is why I decided to do it. But if you are playing AP and you do get your level 3 base, you want to go with tier 1 boots instead, because obviously you're not going to be buying a longsword for AP build. So Why do you get the tier 1 boots instead of like a Dark Seal or something? Well, it's mainly because Dark Seal gives you adaptive AP early game, and it doesn't really do much. It's actually very useless, and in fact, I even tested it. You do less DPS with a Dark Seal than if you were to just not have an item in general. So you want to keep your adaptive AD early game for as long as you can in matchups like this, so that you can at least fight them. Okay, now luckily I'm AD this game, so I go longsword, but if you're AP, just get the tier 1 boots. Just keep that in mind. Don't go Dark Seal, it's very bait. It doesn't help you early game at all. So from base, I already know that my top side's gone, so what do I do? Well, actually, I decided to go for a mid lane gank, because the set is very overextended. So we get a free kill here. I'm full HP, and I have a longsword, and I have Awaken, and I have E leveled. And here we are. This is how you counteract your own red side being taken. Now he makes a mistake here by walking back, thinking that he can kill me somehow or like get some sort of setup. Unfortunately I die afterwards, but this is how you just prevent getting cheesed early game. Because Udyr without his 4 spells is not really a champion. It isn't. Like, you realistically need 4 spells to function, which is why counter jungling and taking away camps and messing up his jungle timers is very effective versus him, because you can't get level 4. But if you come from base full HP level 3 with E leveled, you kind of have an early game still. You're not completely out of the game, and you have a lot more options when this happens to you.